I don't want to play anymore. You broke the darn car.
What?
I'm quoting from Slapshot. I couldn't resist. It's one of the greatest movies of all time, inarguably.
I think I could argue with that pretty easy.
Well, I'm going to trust Paul Newman over you, Steve, because he said it was one of his favorite movies he ever did.
Well, I love Paul Newman, and it's definitely a good one, but I don't think it tops Cool Hand Luke.
Well, Cool Hand Luke, both movies paired Newman with Strother Martin, and Slapshot's directed by George Roy Hill, who also did Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting, both with Newman. All of them are classics.
Huh. How did we get on this tangent, by the way?
Well, Slapshot came out in 1977, and a couple of the decanters of Dusty Bourbon I brought today are also from 1977.
I guess that works.
Not really, but we'll go with it. So it's happy hour, so welcome to Drinking Dusties, where we get to uncork some one-of-a-kind history in a bottle, tasting liquid time capsules to let you know what's worth trying to seek out on your own and what may be better off left buried in the sands of time. I'm Charles Cox.
And I'm Steve Russell. And what the heck have you done here with our new baby blanket of mystery?
This isn't even a quarter of it. I may have gotten a little carried away this time.
Oh, boy. Yeah, you think? How many card decanters did you buy?
14. I could only fit 3 on top of our barrel here. They're more behind me and behind you and more hidden in my basement.
Holy moly. Next question. Why?
I had a good reason, maybe. I came across an online auction of racing memorabilia, and they had a bunch of these old card decanters for whiskey. Sometimes decanters can be gold mines filled with amazing old juice that has escaped most dusty hunters.
Sometimes. And sometimes they're empty because people drank them and decide to keep the decanter as a decoration, or they just leak or evaporate because the corks are crap and ceramic is inherently more porous than glass.
Right. And just over half of these turned out to be empty. Unfortunately, the folks doing the auction wouldn't tell me which ones still had liquid in them. They just say that some were still full. So I really had to buy all of them in the hopes that we'd get some great aged whiskey in some of them.
At the risk of being redundant, you're an idiot.
Yes, but the flip side of that coin is it kept the dusty hunters away. So I was just competing against people looking for car memorabilia, and they apparently didn't want heavy ceramic whiskey decanters because these things weigh a ton.
Yeah.
So I got 14 of them for $441, or basically $31.50 each. So even if we only get drinkable whiskey from a third of them, that's still just over $90 per dusty, which is still a pretty good deal.
Depending on the whiskey inside and what shape it's in. Are they all the same brand?
No, that's kind of a cool thing about it. They're different bourbons and different ages. So some are 9-year-old or 8-year-old Jim Beam, some are 13-year-old Ezra Brooks, and some are 8-year-old Lionstone or McCormick.
Huh. Now, I haven't heard of those last two.
Well, that's because they just bought cheap whiskey and bottled it. So we're not really interested in those. But the Dusty Beam and Ezra Brooks are, they could be great.
Yeah.
Could be great.
Only one way to find out, I guess.
Not yet. Not yet. So let's move these decanters off here.
All right.
Move those two.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So first, we're going to prime the pump by having some current day Ezra Brooks Distillers Collection for comparison.
Wait, what's the connection between modern day Ezra Brooks and the dusty Ezra Brooks in your decanters?
Nothing, except the name, which has been sold a few times in between. So current day Ezra Brooks is made at Lux Row Distillers by Luxco, which is now owned by MGP.
Another boutique craft whiskey from Midwest Grain Products.
Hey, they may be a huge corporate behemoth, but they do actually make several good whiskeys, and also provide most NDPs, non-distiller producers, with who wouldn't be able to do business without the juice that they sell.
Yeah, I know. It's just sad to see another once illustrious bourbon name get owned by a huge whiskey holding company, basically.
Well, Ezra Brooks is at least actually distilled now at Lux Row Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. And to be fair, it was never a historic brand. It was created in the late 50s by Frank Silverman's 21 Brands, specifically to compete directly with Jack Daniels and capitalize on a shortage of Old No. 7 that was caused by the popularity of the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, all drinking Jack Daniels. So complete with sour mash, charcoal filtering, and a very similar black label that was so similar Brown-Forman sued them to differentiate more.
It doesn't look similar anymore, really, but yeah, those old bottles were pretty close.
Yeah. A cool note as well is that it was bottled back then at the Hoffman Distilling Company in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, at least until Hoffman went out of business in 1976, or at least out of business making whiskey and just became a bottler.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is where Julian Van Winkle, in what he calls his most desperate and darkest days, took his Van Winkle barrels and bottled them for pretty much anyone who would buy them, desperate, to keep afloat. Basically.
Yeah, that story is like crazy to even think about now.
Yeah, but Julian obviously earned his success through years of misery and hard work. So, sorry, we're not drinking Pappy today. And this clearly isn't in that same league, but Luxco has been making some good stuff.
Let's try it.
All right. Let's get those glasses.
Yep.
And again, we drink it neat first. You drink it how you like. Strong.
It definitely smells like bourbon.
Smells like burning. Yeah, that joke never gets old, Steve.
Okay, fine. I, of course, smell ethanol because you didn't let this breathe properly before serving it, you Philistine. And then after that dissipates, some caramel, cinnamon, oak, a little bit of tea leaves.
Wow, Steve, right. I'm impressed, man.
Yeah, which all smells like bourbon, by the way, not baking spices.
All right, I do get some other more subtle baking spice notes. I got to say, past the cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, anise, but also there's a lot of caramel, vanilla, orange pith, raisins, maybe some wet cardboard.
What the hell is orange pith?
So you know the bitter white part of the orange between the skin and the flesh of the fruit of the orange. So it's not sweet like the fruit, but it's not bitter like the rind. It's sort of in between.
Wow, you're a real nose to tail guy. Honestly, you're ridiculous.
True story. Let's drink to that.
Let's do it. First one of the day.
Washing out the toothpaste.
Okay.
Well, as I said, we're priming the pump, right?
Yeah.
Like to drink before we get to the good stuff.
I'll also say this tastes like bourbon. Not bad.
Well, you know this is secretly Heaven Hill bourbon, right?
Wait, what?
I know, you love your Heaven Hill.
Their website said Ezra Brooks is distilled by Lux Row Distillers.
Right.
And they're owned by MGP. So if they're sourced, why wouldn't this be MGP juice since they supply basically everybody?
Well, bourbon production at Luxury Row didn't start until 2018, and MGP bought them in 2021.
Okay.
So the bottle says no age statement on it, but it says it was bottled in 2018. So the math suggests it's about 6 years old, which means this is still bourbon that they were sourcing from Heaven Hill before all of that. So maybe even some of the last you'll find before you start getting the stuff they're distilling themselves or blending together. So note the bottle says it was distilled for Lux Row Distillers, not at or by.
Our high school English teachers were right. Prepositions are important. Heaven Hill, huh? No wonder I kind of like it so much.
Yeah, I know. And I definitely get a lot of the same flavor notes that I got on first sniff, but I also get a sharp, there's pepper note. There's some nice nuttiness, like a almost peanut brittle maybe, a little sweet. Maybe it's almond paste or marzipan, along with some caramel candy and that orange pith.
Yeah. I get toffee aftertaste. This is pleasant, if just a little bit hot for my taste.
Yeah, well, it's 107 proof.
Yeah,
and it's $36.
Whew, I love it after all.
The way to your heart's always through your wallet.
Yeah, it's really pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an under the radar value right there. You can grab a bottle of the Heaven Hill supplied stuff.
Yeah,
nothing against Lux Row, but we haven't tried their version yet to be able to compare it.
And they'll probably end up blending them together for a little while. So, all of that, while fun and informative, doesn't really have much to do with the star of the show this week.
So remind me again why you blew your budget on a bunch of toy cars.
Well, decanters can actually be a great, cheaper backdoor into getting your hands on some great dusty bourbons, assuming you don't mind the downsides.
There are downsides?
Well, as you know, they can be consumed but still held onto as keepsakes, so they're often empty, as we learned, half of our supply. Hopefully you get a chance to inspect it before you buy it if you're buying it at an estate sale or an auction or whatever, but I couldn't because I was buying it online, right? And the seller didn't want to be bothered with searching all of them, so they just said some of them have whiskey in them. So buyer beware.
Yeah, that sucks that half of them are empty. They still look really cool, though.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's part of why I got it. I was like, oh, my son will like the decorations.
And this is a handful of what you got. Chad, show the whole collection.
Yeah, you see there's all of them.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
So even if they do have liquid in them, if the tack strip is broken or the decanter never had one, you really don't know what's inside it. Now, it's unlikely that someone's trying to scam you by refilling old car decanters or other decanters with modern swill, because there's actually not much of a market for decanter whiskey at all. But a previous owner could have loved the decanter, wanted to keep it, finished the whiskey inside, and then refilled it with something else.
Yeah, like hobo pee. That would also suck.
Hopefully that's not the case here. Plus, the corks on them are also notoriously fragile and crumbly, having dried out over decades. So unlike wines, which are usually deliberately stored on their sides to keep the cork wet, so it doesn't crumble, decanter designs often required storing them upright, because usually the top, it was on the top of the decanter where the opening was. So now they often leak if you tip them over.
Wow. So you're 0 for 3.
Yeah. Well, plus there's the lead issue.
Tell me more about the lead issue.
Well, these ceramic decanters, many of them were made in China, and they weren't manufactured, obviously, to meet modern limits on lead content. So there is more lead in them than you would find in glass bottles. Plus, this is sitting around for 50 or more years. Some of that lead is going to leach into the whiskey.
And drinking lead is bad for you?
Yes, but the expert consensus is that the levels, even in these ceramic decanters, would be so small that unless you're drinking like a decanter or more every single day, you really don't have anything to worry about.
So everything in moderation, even lead.
Even lead, yeah.
But you definitely haven't convinced me to buy whiskey decanters with any of this.
Well, I'm not sure I would do it again, to be honest. But I was trying to find a cheaper way for us to get some great dusty bourbon, since, as you know, the prices can be insane. And this decanter phenomenon was an actually desperate Hail Mary by distillers to try to convince people to buy bourbon back when nobody was. So you were actually getting really high quality, older bourbon in this thing. So this was admittedly a bit of an experiment on my part. The proof will be in the potent potables themselves.
Yeah. So does that mean we finally get to try some? Does this one have bourbon in it?
Yeah, I mean, we do also have some Dusty Jim Beam, Lionstone, McCormick, but this Ezra Brooks decanter is the oldest we have at 155 months, and it does have whiskey in it.
Oh, I can hear it sloshing.
So let's go with this one.
Yep.
All right. And as you see, the tack strip is still intact. It's been taped over to hold everything in place, but that's still unbroken.
Yeah. So half the time when I look at these, I don't even know like where to open the thing up. This one's a little bit more obvious.
Yeah. So this one, I think we're going to need to cut. You got an X-Acto knife? We need to cut that tape. So somebody years ago, that's very old.
Just cut right here?
Yeah. Looks like medical tape with iodine.
Seriously.
Oh, you cut the tack strip.
I think that has to be part of the deal.
Yeah, we got to. I don't know how we're going to get this open.
I'm having trouble on this side because it's really tight on this side.
That's what she said.
Okay, go right towards your bottom.
Right towards me with the blade, thanks. Watch your fingers.
Okay, I can't get any
farther
in there. So see what you can do now.
Seal's broken.
Seal's broken.
All right, let's see what happens when I pull this off.
Oh, it's nice and clean in there.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Where's the... It's just kind of sliding off that side.
It's just rotating. I'm rotating the cork, I think.
Wow, cork did not.
Look at the color of that cork.
Wow.
But it did not.
It did not crumble.
It did not crumble.
That's because it's been wet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah. I'm not taking the bait, man. I'm not taking the bait.
It doesn't smell like whiskey. What does that smell like?
I mean, it's faint whiskey to me.
Smell? Could be good.
Could be.
Could be.
Don't set it down, by the way.
All right. Here, hold this for a second. We're going to get our glasses.
All right.
Here's some glasses. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So the cork is still wet because it was on its side. So that's a good thing. All right. So how about you want to have the honors of pouring?
Sure. How do I freaking do it? Should I go?
Maybe the other way around? Yeah.
Should go this way.
Yeah. All right.
Holy, this is cumbersome at best.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at the color of that.
Oh, it's so dark. There we go. Okay, good. All right, but now
what do
I guess we recork it, right? Because the cork is still intact. So
cumbersome.
Yeah. All right. Now we had some mason jars to pour this in if we couldn't recork it, but that. Well, let me know if you see it leaking. But I think that's good.
All right,
I think that's good. All right.
All right.
Oh wow.
So I'm still not getting a lot of smell, but I want to just say this is maybe the darkest whiskey I've ever had.
And remember that this is 155 months, right? So 13 years in wood before it even went into the decanter, and then it's been in the decanter for 60-something years. So
you didn't tell me there'd be math, but anyway.
All right.
I'm gonna smell it. Okay, I'm getting more smell now.
What is that? I mean, it's very I would say beyond black sugar. This is like molasses. It's got that molasses smell to it.
That might be suggested by the color a little bit. I mean, I can't get away from the color. It's just so dark.
I mean, there's definitely a little bit of, you get the cinnamon, but nothing else in terms of spice. A little bit of ethanol, but man, it just smells very rich and deep and oaky.
Right. And yet, definitely smells like bourbon. When is this from?
Well, we have to do some detective work. The ceramic decanter has the year 1971 on the bottom. Typically, decanters didn't like to hold on to these for a long time because they're heavy, they're fragile, cumbersome. So it's safe to assume that it was bottled either that year or the year after. And the sticker on the side of the car says the juice was 155 months old when bottled.
You didn't tell me there'd be math. Just tell me how old that is.
Well, divide by 12. That's 12 years and 11 months old in barrels before it went into the decanter.
Why not just say it's 13 years old?
Because that would be lying, Steve. And a bourbon bottler with sketchy provenance trying to trick you into buying their product by pouring it inside a toy car would never lie to you.
Well, they're legally not allowed to lie about the age. they either put the real age on there or they don't state it.
Well, sort of. They are required by law to list the youngest age of what's inside if they list an age. But if they're mixing different batches together for consistent flavor, different ages, there can be older whiskeys in there than the age listed, which happened a lot.
Right. And this was the bourbon glut. When people stopped buying bourbon, whiskey makers had way more supply than anticipated. They didn't want to keep paying taxes on the older stuff they were holding on to. So they often mixed even older stuff in with the younger stuff just to honestly get shed of it.
Yeah, and that's could contribute to the color too. So one of the grand theories as to why dusty bourbons taste so great is they're often older in aggregate than what the bottle actually says they are. But let's try it and see.
Let's do it. I'm so curious about this. Okay. There's a flavor I'm not used to in there, and I can't figure out what it is.
Rum. This tastes like
rum. Oh my God, you're right.
It does not taste like bourbon. This tastes like rum.
No, I would say
bourbon too, but it tastes
right. I'm saying it doesn't taste like somebody's put rum in a decanter. It tastes like there's a rum quality to it.
Like sometimes I've had like Basil Hayden had a rye that was actually aged in rum cask. It might have even had a little bit of rum mixed into it. It tastes similar to that it had this sort of like rum-like quality to it.
You're right. And I wonder if that comes from, I know I'm obsessed with the color, but I wonder if that came from like whatever also is giving it this really, really deep, copper color.
It's the lead.
It's the lead. I suddenly really like lead in my bourbon.
More lead.
Yeah.
No, but it is friggin' delicious. But it's so different than even the other Dusties we've had. This is a different quality. It is weird what contributed to that. But it's funny. I talked about it looking like molasses, but rum's made from molasses, so it's got that quality.
I do like it. I wouldn't call it. And this is kind of opposed to what I thought I was going to experience from the color of it. And, and honestly, it has a decent look at there's a great viscosity on the side of the glass.
Some might even say viscosity.
It really clings to the glass, but it doesn't have maybe as much depth of flavor as I thought it might have.
Correct, and there is still a little. It's a little bit hot. Like it's definitely got a little bit of that burn, but no, and it lingers. Like
it does linger.
Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah, it doesn't have a deep bottom, but it does linger.
But that like molasses cookie quality, like it's sweet. It's I love that. Almost like with that burnt.
Yeah,
maybe it's just like 13 years in heavily charred barrels.
That's right. We maybe are discounting what happened before it went into the wacky 18-pound ceramic car decanter.
Seriously, guys, these things weigh a ton. Even the empty ones that we had, grab that red one.
Yeah.
Grab that red one. Oh, feel how heavy that is. That's completely empty. Look, empty. Nothing in it except dust.
You can use it for a workout if you want.
Yeah, this is that's more than a paperweight.
Yeah, crazy town. Oh my gosh.
Oh. All right. Yeah. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's
really interesting.
It's maybe one of the most unique bourbons I've had. It's just different.
It's very different. Yeah. It definitely
But now that you said the rum thing, I'm just like,
I have a buddy who's in my whiskey group who he's Dominican, so he drinks whiskey with us. He likes Scotch, but I'm a bourbon. Right. He loves rum. So every year he gets together rums from like 12 different countries, like the best from Panama and Cuba,
really good rums. Yeah.
And so we do a tasting of and because it was 12,
I love sipping rum.
By the end of the night, it's a disaster. But he would love this. Oh my God! If you like rum. And you're a little bit on the fence with whiskey, or if you also like whiskey, you're going to love this. Absolutely love this. Oh, I love here, like this is supposed to be like air exhausts on they look like somebody just took a mold from a dentist's office
they look
of
exactly
teeth
like that.
and just put some teeth on there.
They look exactly like that. Like, there's a great story somewhere about I'm sure it's not one person. That'd be great, even greater for work, but who actually designed these things? I know they were made in China, right? Because that's where China got made.
So we'll talk about those with some other, because Jim Beam in particular had some gorgeous decanters that had real, incredible artwork, where it was actually made by real artists. And it's freaking beautiful.
Here's the thing though, like even the cars we have here are different from each other, right?
Completely.
And then we have the decanters that are shaped like golfers and decanters that are shaped like other things. Like, it must have been an absolute nightmare for the bottling people to do with this. It's not like you redid the whole bottling line every time somebody came up with some ridiculous new decanter.
Right.
So were they all did they have to hand fill them all?
They must have. I mean, even at least some of the other ones have the opening on top, right? So they could go by and maybe you could have had a hose or something. But like this one, you would have had to physically pick it up, fill it, and then put the top on and then put it down. So someone would have to do that. Super
labor intensive compared to having even a little bottling line, like probably like Julian had at Commonwealth. Just having a little bottling line, one or two people can man, and you do, X number of bottles per hour that way because they're all in a row and they're sliding down. This is much more labor intensive.
And this, of course, was before we had terms like repetitive motion injury, carpal tunnel syndrome.
Well,
can you imagine having to do this 800 times a day?
I think this would have helped with that, though, because you would have been like, trying to figure it out every time. It wouldn't have been the same.
Get very sore.
Exactly.
Normally for you, it's the right arm.
Yeah, there's probably like the 1970s. There were a bunch of distillery employees walking around that had one arm that was much bigger than the other arm. Yeah, it was a huge Popeye arm. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and this is just one. So we have some others we can try at a later date.
Cool. Let's do it. I now will say, yes, I'll drink more lead-contaminated bourbon. I get a lot of things you're saying. Also, I'm getting a little raisin.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even raisins soaked in rum.
I got to know, you guys. Yeah.
Way to go.
But it still tastes like bourbon. But this Ezra Brooks was also sourced whiskey. Who actually made this?
Well, back in the late 50s and 60s, it was actually distilled at the Hoffman Distillery by the Rippey family, who are legends for creating wild turkey, but there were a bunch of them.
So when was it distilled by Ezra Brooks?
Never. That name was just used by Frank Silverman's 21 Brands to sound old school authentic.
To compete with Jack Daniels, as you said.
Exactly. So they got sued by Brown-Forman for copying them. Ezra Brooks actually won the case, but they did end up differentiating themselves a little bit. Yeah. But they always tried to play up the number 7 on the label. They had a big 7 to try to confuse people who were really looking for.
Yeah, honestly, that's hilarious. I can't believe they got away with it.
Yeah, and given its age, this would have to be some of the earliest Ezra Brooks in existence because it was only created in 1957 or 58.
Yeah. So it turns out this is actually pretty tasty stuff. Yeah. And old as the old granddad we had earlier. Plus, it's rare OG Ezra Brooks, distilled at legendary Hoffman Distillery by the even more legendary Rippey family. I'm going to admit it. You did all right with your little toy car experiment.
You probably shouldn't encourage me, but at least my son will now get a bunch of toy car decorations for his room. And at $31.50 per decanter, this ended up being a steal if you ignore all the ones that were empty.
Right. But did that include shipping?
Not exactly. I didn't quite plan for how heavy these stupid things are.
So how much did it cost to have them shipped?
Enough that I debated driving all the way to Indiana to pick them up myself, but I decided to bite the bullet and pay to have them packed nicely and shipped to me.
Fess up. How much?
$300.
Just for the shipping.
Yeah, well, there were 14 of them. So you can see they're really fucking heavy. These things weigh a ton. And they're ceramics. They break.
Yeah, even the empty ones are heavy. But honestly, thanks for sharing this. It was like a weird and eye-opening experience.
All right. Now we're at the best part of every episode where we ask, where we talk about sending whiskey to our generous Patreon donors. We will pick one and send them a sample of this amazing Ezra Brooks. So if you want to try one of our Dusties, support us on Patreon and be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Please do. You get great content. Thanks for watching.
Keep it dusty. Cheers.
Skull. See you next time.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If this car had been in the movie Toy Story, and comes to life at night when the kids are gone, would the other toys have drunk from it?
Drinking its blood?
Right.
That would make an awesome movie.
Right.
Hollywood. Make a horror movie version of Toy Story.
Give us a ring. Give us a ring.